So do you know what is the best teaching? So the best teaching is when you would say, when he is stopping with teaching, because I want to go and apply what I heard. I mean, this is all about in our course. So we want to create a passion in you that you say, okay, I want to go out and apply what I heard. So we don't want that you say, oh, that was a wonderful teaching, it was a good teaching, you're a good teacher, and that's okay when you say that to us. But our biggest outcome of the course is when we can see you, that you are inspired, go out, influence people, that you are motivated to take leadership. So we hope so far that we really could create this atmosphere of leadership, this passion, this motivation. So and therefore please tell us, give us back, tell us when you feel that or when you don't feel that, and when we not reach the goal, then please let us know that we can change something. So our heart is that you get inspired, that you get equipped to really take leadership. And I think you have a lot to give, but sometimes we have a block in our head that hinder us really to take responsibility. So today we have the topic. I will turn now to the PowerPoint. So today we have the topic, create an atmosphere of leadership. Okay, the question is now, I mean, you are motivated, you are passionate to do it, but you ask the question now how I can do it. So that's the theme of today. A good environment is a key factor for success. So yeah, the environment is really, really important. And therefore, let's say, create the atmosphere of leadership. So we have to look to that we have a good leadership environment. Therefore, we can grow and we will have success. You probably ask why there is no success, and then probably ask first, how is the atmosphere here? A leader is responsible for the atmosphere of the organization. So let's say I was recently in a factory, and we often with our school we visit factory, and this was a chocolate factory with the expedition, and so you have to pay a ticket for getting into the expedition. Before I get in, the lady on the desk, I ask her, so do you like to work here? And then she said to me, yes, I like to work here. I work here for 20 years, but I like to do it. So I asked, why do you like it? She said, oh, I mean, the boss, he's coming every day. He's coming, and probably there are 200 workers. So he's coming, he knows our name. And when I say something, then he remember next time about that. And he's there, he listened to us. And he's doing research about how we are, and we really feel good. So I found out that the atmosphere in this company is really good. I didn't have to go to the leader and ask him, how is your atmosphere in the company? You can check the atmosphere in the company when you go to the staff and ask, what is the atmosphere here? And you will find it out. And this is really hard. This is a hard test, because you can go now to my staff and ask, so how is the leader? This is not something that you can talk about. It's brutal facts. Is it there or is it not there? And you can ask the staff. I mean, sometimes it's a bit a challenge, because also the perspective of the staff could be different and not everybody's happy. But you will find out the atmosphere of a company when you ask the staff. So this was 4 years ago. I visited the chocolate company. And this year I visit again the same chocolate factory. I came to the desk and asked the lady, do you like to work here? And she said to me, I mean, it was better 5 years ago. But now with the new boss, it's different. He's no more taking care of us. He don't have time. He often is not here around. And so, and somehow the transfer from the boss to his son didn't function so good. The atmosphere changed and the people did not like to work there. Of course, the boss cannot do everything, but if an organization is growing, then the boss can only influence, let's say, at most probably 12 people. I would say 7 to 10 or not more than 12 people. And if you're bigger in a company, then you have to make sure that these 12 people will disciple the next 12 people. And so, of course, a boss cannot take care for everybody, but it can create an atmosphere that people feel to take care from the leadership. So this is this is our responsibility as a leader to create a good atmosphere. But this is a statement from John Maxwell in his book. He says 99% of all leadership occurs not from the top, but from the middle of an organization. So I read a book from him, it calls 360-degree leadership. And this really inspired me. And say, wow, you don't have to be on the top to have influence. Everybody is actually responsible for creating a good atmosphere, not just the boss. So the biggest problem that we have in our mind is this, that we say leadership is not about the position. We think leadership is about the position, but leadership is not about the position. It's about influence. And I think that's the biggest mistake that we do. We think we can create the atmosphere of organization when we are on the top. And when we are not on the top, like here, this mountain behind me, then we cannot create the atmosphere. And this is all the responsibility of the one in top. But according to John Maxwell, say 99% of leadership is not done from the top. On the top, you find a lot of managers. They're standing there, they're shouting, and they are really famous and so. But actually, leadership mostly is done not from the top. So therefore, it's not about the position, it's about the influence. And so everybody of us can take leadership and can change an organization. You don't have to wait until you get on the top. Here these questions, and I always have to change that. Why we think we cannot take leadership, or what hinders us in our mind? First, because people define success as being on the top. As a result, they believe that if they are not on the top, they are not successful. So our problem is that we think when somebody is on the top, he is successful. And when you not reach that, then you are not successful. So our mind have to change, that we not say success is being on the top. No, success from a leadership perspective is that you have followers. So a leader, Decent said it last time, that a leader has followers. When you don't have followers, then you're not a leader, then you're a hiker. So that is meaning success, that a leader has followed and people are listening to him. So the question is our picture of success, and this can hinder us really to take leadership, or because we think, oh, we cannot be successful because we are not on the top. So the second one, I can't lead if I'm not on the top. So the problem is that often people think, I'm not on the top, therefore I will not lead. And they wait until they get a position. But I think this is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. We have to prepare today. So when you wait until to the top, then it's too late when you are on the top. We have to prepare ourselves, and we have to lead and influence people from our position that we have today, and not wait until we get to the top. So another wrong understanding is, if I were not on the top, then people would, if I were on top, the people would follow me. That's also wrong. Yeah, it's again the same thing. When people think I'm the leader, so I have the position, therefore people follow me, that's wrong. I was recently in a school. I taught there for a week, and the leader of the school, he stood up and said something, and nobody was listening, or almost nobody. And then a student stood up and said something, and everybody was listening. So my observation was then to say, wow, who is the leader here? What do you think? Is the leader or the one who has the position, or is the one who leads a student? And for me it's clear it was the student who led the school, or who had influence in the school. And people were listening to her and were able or were willing to obey. And so this is something that I observe a lot of time, that the boss is saying something and people do not listen. And when somebody from the staff is saying something, then probably people will listen. So this is a wrong understanding, that we think when we get a position, then people follow us. So when you become a leader of a base today, that means not that people follow you. That means we have we have a position, and this is good, but not necessarily really so that people will follow you. And this is something that we have to understand, that the top will not make us to that. Or I can reach my potential if I'm not on the top. This is really wrong understanding. So you say, I need to have another position, then I could be someone, or I can't really show my potential. No, you have to show your potential now, and not wait until you get to a top. So the top means not necessarily that he has more potential, or he is better or better equipped. I mean, he has more responsibility to lead. Influencers through their presentation, through doing something. You cannot wait until you get this position to become influencing. You need to start now to do it, and then you will get a position where you really can influence the people. So I don't say that social media and these influencers, they are doing good things and we should follow them. I just say that they create influence, and because of that people follow them. So, but actually they are not leader in our sense. Really leader who take care of the people, but they are really good to perform good, and people are following them. So when I get to the top, I'll be free. I don't have time to take care of people, to lead these people, because I'm so stressed to do all the things. People who think like that, they really misunderstand the top, because if you have more responsibility, then you have more things to do. And when you not learn today to really invest in people and take time to lead, then you will not take it when you have a position. And the most problem in businesses is that people on the top don't have time for their people, so they don't have time to lead the people. And so when you not train this now and make time free and stop with your busyness and doing this and this and this, and start to take time for leadership, then you will not have time when you're on the top. Good, leadership start today. Why do we not take leadership when we have the opportunity to take it? So now we probably understood that everybody can be a leader. Everybody has the responsibility to change the atmosphere of organization, not just the top. I hope you understand this is the first point. So the second point is now, so why are you not taking leadership when there would be an opportunity? So what would be mind or hindering blocks that hinder you to do that? As a first, I have a negative picture of leadership. Therefore, I don't want to take responsibility. Yeah, often we, and especially in Africa, so leadership picture has a lot to do with corruption, has a lot to do with misusing of power, but also in the West. I mean, big companies, I mean, they have not so a good image. Also, I mean, all the power game with money and so on and so on. So sometimes leadership have a really negative picture, and therefore I think I don't want to take leadership. But again, leadership is not a position, it's about influence. And leadership is not about getting big. Leadership is about becoming a servant like Jesus was. So taking this as example, so then everybody of us has to become a leader like Jesus was. Be willing to serve and give his life for others. And therefore, leadership is good, it's not negative. But especially in the West, there is a lot of misunderstanding or wrong pictures about leadership. And so people hesitate to really take leadership. So next one, I am afraid to be wrong. So often I hear that people are so afraid to do mistakes, to be wrong. Or they say, I am afraid to fail. I can tell you, we all fail when we take leadership. Leadership will not guarantee that you don't do a mistake. Actually, leadership, if you take leadership, then you will do mistakes. But the question is, do you learn something in your mistake? Do you stand up and do it then the right way? And I heard that from Microsoft, or let's say Apple, when they look for people and somebody apply for the job, then when they gave a perfect CV where they never did a mistake, they will not take the people. Because they say, when his life seems to be perfect, then on one hand he never had leadership, so he had no experience, we cannot take him. Or the other thing, he is not willing to stay to his mistakes, so he tried to hide it, and therefore we cannot take it. When in a business, when you hide the mistakes, then it is not good for a company, because hiding mistakes is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So mistakes have to be shown that it can be changed, and this can bring a success. So as a leader, for doing mistakes is actually, that's normal. We are doing mistakes. So we can only direct the ship when the ship is leaving the harbor. And so we have to go, and by this we can learn. We're doing mistakes, but this is not the end. We can stand up, we can stay to it, and then we will grow. So next one, I'm afraid of what others would think about me. This is so big. People don't want to stay in front and say something because they think, what would the others think when I say that, when I stay to my opinion, when I have to give direction here. And so they are so afraid what others think that they not take responsibility. So the fear of man is so big, and I think as Christians we have really advantage. We know that this fear, Jesus Christ died for this fear, and we can give it to God, and He can help us to really overcome this fear. But we have to do a step that not our feelings are determine us, that our belief, that we say we don't have to be afraid, and even I'm afraid, I will go and stand up, and I do not take care of what others say. And I can tell you a secret, actually you don't have to think so much about what others think about you, because they don't have time for that. They have too much to do with themselves and think about themselves, that they not have time to think about you. So actually everybody standing in this fear, and we as a leader, we have to break this fear. Good, the next one, I am not so clever and gifted like others. So many times I hear that. So they are so afraid, because they think, others are better than me, and others know more than me, and therefore they don't go. Or they say, I am not enough equipped. But I tell you a secret, we are never enough equipped, and when we wait until we would be enough equipped, we will never start. And you can only learn through going. You cannot stay there and wait. And nobody of us is enough equipped. And I think there is a good scripture in the Bible, where Moses said to God, okay, I'm not equipped for that. Please send somebody else. I want to read that to you, and this is actually in Exodus 5:20. It say, let's see, I'm turning to the right passage. Then Moses told the Lord, it's in Exodus 4:10. I was in the wrong passage. So Exodus 4:10. Then Moses told the Lord, please, Lord, I'm not eloquent. I never has in the past, nor I'm no since you spoke to your servant. In fact, I talk too slowly, and I have a speech impediment. So what actually Moses said to God, I cannot do it. Please send somebody else. I'm not equipped for that. I cannot speak. And God get angry about it. No, because God asked then Moses, so who gave you the mouth? Who gave you the speak? Who gave you this? When I tell you to go, then I gave you everything that you have, and you can go, can stand up and can do it. So we have to overcome this misunderstanding that we have to be enough equipped. When there is the opportunity, and God put us in this situation, then we have to take it, and then we have to go. So the next one is, I don't have the time for doing it. I so often hear that people say, I would really like to do it, but I'm so busy, I don't have the time for taking this opportunity. And I can tell you, it will not be better in 10 years. We always have not enough time for doing everything what we should do. And I say this again before, we have to create the time for taking the leadership. We cannot, when we look around and say, okay, I have this and this and this and this, so I don't have the time, you never find the time. So you have to ask yourself, what is really important to do and what not, and what should I still do and what not. And probably you have to stop doing things and starting to lead. So you cannot, when you are so stressed and then you say, I take leadership and put this up on my list, then it will not function. I tell you, it will not function. So you have to be willing to give up something. But this is so important. You have to look, what can I give up? What can I delegate? that you really have time to taking leadership. But just say I have no time is not the right answer for a leader. So this are some points that can hinder you to really take leadership. Good, coming to the next question. Leaders are responsible to create a leadership culture in their organization, even they are not on the top. So this is what we had in the beginning. So when we have now the awareness of that, so how can we change this culture? Also, first of all is the realization it have to change. Also, something have to change. If you not see that, then of course you cannot do it. Second one is you are part of the problem. So this is what I found out in my organization. As long as you see a problem in the leadership and the leadership have to change, it will not change. Of course, it will probably change, but not through you and not through your influence. So you can only change something when you start to think, I am a part of the problem. And this is really, I'm also in my organization, and our problem was a bit that, there was a lot of issues with Corona, with leadership transition, and a leader could not do it, and then another leader have to step in, and so on and so on. So I don't want to blame the leadership at all, but through that there was no more time for investing in us or in giving a vision, and so we start to doing it by ourselves. So I said in my department, okay, I cannot change something in our organization, so I just look for my department. But as I understood that from John Maxwell, from this book 360 Degrees, I'm also responsible for the problem in the organization, and I can lead in every direction, 360 degrees. I can lead it up, I can lead it down and on the side. But you have to see that I am a part of the problem, and as long as you not see that, you not really will influence something. So the next one is I have to change first myself. That is one of the biggest revelation that you can have. Just to say this have to change or this have to change, nothing will change. Change only can happen when you change yourself first. That's leadership. Probably change can happen, but not through your leading. And we're talking here about leadership. So when you want to create change, then you have to change something. Of course, we cannot change everything, and sometimes really change just happen. But we talk about this leadership, that my responsibility for bringing change can only happen when I really change something, and therefore I have to change first myself. And you know how hard this really is. But this is always the understanding. Change can only happen when I change first myself. So next one, to believe I can change something. I had to come to the point that I understood, oh, okay, I see that there are weaknesses in the organization, but I don't want to run away. I really can change something. And I start, after that, reading the book, I really start to believe that I can change something. I can influence the organization in a good way, and I can change the atmosphere in this organization. I can lead up and down and on every side. And so it's not so easy, and especially to influence the leader about you, but it's possible. It's a question, do you believe in that or not? But this is another topic, exactly how to do that. But I started now to really try to bring influence in every direction in my organization. So I am practical. I need new input. So change cannot happen when I don't have input. I say that already before. It's one of really the key understanding for leadership. When you want to change, then change only can happen when there is no new input coming into you. But just have input like we have today, it's not enough. We need time for reflections. We need to reflect on it. We have to think what is good, what is not good. And therefore we have these small groups, the idea that you meet in small groups to really reflect on it. But not only in the small group, also in your personal time, that you reflect again about the teaching. And then the third thing that a teaching is, or the input is really can really bring change, is then we have to put it in practice. So what I do is always I listen to an input, I take notes, I go through notes, I make a summary, I think about it, and when I can, then I really discuss it with others, and then I put it in practice. I'm a teacher, and therefore my thing putting in practice is I make a PowerPoint. I make a PowerPoint that I can teach others with that. I put it in practice, and when I did the PowerPoint, then I also do the input and then telling others, like I do it today, telling others about it. So this is really the input alone is not enough. We need more than that. But it starts when nothing comes in, then nothing new will come out. And it needs a commitment. So I have to be fully there in every meeting. And this, I did a mistake. So when there is no more that strong vision and no more so good culture in your organization, then the tendency will come that you go to the meeting and just for discussing your issues. All the rest, you close your eyes, you are physically there, but spiritually you are doing something else, or you're working in your computer, or you do not listening. And so you cannot have influence like this. So when you really want to bring change in change in this atmosphere, in this culture, so you need a commitment to the organization. You know, I am a part of the problem, and now I'm sitting in this meeting and I'm listening carefully of what everybody is saying. So you need to be fully there, fully commitment to the meeting, and this costs a lot of discipline, but I tell you, I guarantee you, it will bring a change in the organization, and you will receive influence. Put your agenda second. I mean, that's I have to learn in my department, my school, my ministry. But if you really want to change something, then you have to say, okay, I put my agenda second, and first is my employment in the ministry, in the organization. I want to serve there, I want to do that, and put second my agenda. And this is really hard. But if you want to become a leader, if you want to change a culture, then this is absolutely necessary to do. So next one, be willing to give your time. It costs you something. I mean, really give your time. You have to go to the meeting that you think, why should I go there? What can I profit there? So give your time. You are busy with something, but take time to help others, to invest in others, and not look just for yourself. And then you start to really gain influence in a company. Practice leadership is another is the step. So really serving people, and I have a value that in the morning I read my values, I think about that. So and ask, how can I serve people to whom I can add value today? So I go with this attitude through my organization, and when you do that, you will find out, I can't guarantee you that you will become a people with influence. So then when you do that, then it's not enough. So you have to teach leadership. So gather the people around you, giving them input. This is, it's just serving them is not enough. You need now really to start to teach leadership principles. So this is what I did in my organization as well. Really, I gather my people, and I say to myself, my principle for leading a meeting is always the same. It needs a relationship, and people need to like to come to the meeting. So in my meetings, I always create an atmosphere of relationship. Let's say in the beginning, that the people can share things about themselves. And so, I mean, I'm not perfect or so, but this is my understanding. It's at first you create this relationship that that you want to be together. The second one is always I teach something. I say in every meeting, and when I say every meeting, I mean every meeting. It's not just about pragmatical things. So in every meeting, I think it's also about that they're learning something. And as a leader, I'm responsible that people can learn something. And so gather your people and help them to learn something. So the last one in my meeting is then the practical things. So I have this order for all of my meetings, and everybody who had a meeting with me probably know what I'm talking about. Find people who want to change. That's another thing that we need, and go around and look for people. And often people don't want to change, but there are people around, and so we are responsible to find them. Create a model of leadership. This is what I did in my organization. I gathered the people, I teach them, and I created a model of leadership. I did a 2-year program of leadership, and it created a structure of responsibilities. And when you do that, then people over you will look to you and say, and ask you, how do you do that? Why does it function in your department but not in our organization? And you start to gain influence in every direction, 360 degrees, when you start in your little field that you are, when you can create a leadership model. And always stand up again. We are not perfect. We do a lot of mistakes, and so we have to be willing, when we are so frustrated, to stand up again. Good. My last I think it's my last one. Leaders are responsible to create in their team a leadership culture. So now that's the next step. So let's say you have now a team, you have influence, but now you have to your staff, it's not just about you. You have now to give it to the next generation, to your leaders. You help them that they also develop this leadership culture. So I have some points here as well. Give young leadership a position. I mean, that's the best thing what you can do to integrate leader in your team. Give them a position, but then test the outcome and give a feedback. I mean, what is really frustrating, or when they don't have a feedback of what they are doing, so they don't know if it's good, it's not, and it creates insecurity. Sometimes it's better to give really a strong bad feedback, but people know where they are. So, and then staff allow your staff to make mistakes. Or now it's first allow your staff to break the norm and do greater things. So the staff should not be like slaves or just doing what you exactly say. And I mean, when I go to a restaurant and I say to the one who serve, can I have the this menu with French fries. And then she said, I don't know if you can have that because it's not on our card. Or she probably say, no, you cannot have it, it's not on the menu card. Then this customer think, okay, it's not on the menu card, but why can you not do a difference? But when the one who serves say, no, that's not a problem, because they anyway have French fries, they say, okay, yeah, I will tell the cook, and he can put French fries on the menu. That's not a problem. I take care of that. Then you feel, wow, that's good. That's good organization. That's a good restaurant. And because the staff were allowed to break the norm and say, okay, this is not on the card, but I can be flexible because to do something good, to bless these customers, and the customer is happy and will come back again. So we have to create atmosphere that the staff are allowed to break the norm, to do greater things. Let's say you ask them, can you help me? I have to copy something. I don't know how the copy machine is working, and this person would say, no, you have to wait until 6 o'clock because I have to work now. Okay, but yeah, okay, the norm is she has to work, but she is not free to do something good. And so I think we have, as a boss or as somebody who leads a team, we have to create this atmosphere. So the next one is we have to show first to the people that's not about money. So often it's just everything is about money, and if you show that to people, then they will not really believe us. We have to show them that it's really about people, and we really take care about that. And in the end, we can know as Christians that God is our provider. But I think this is really leadership, and is this that we not push the stuff around and just about the numbers and about the money. So leaders are willing to go slower, but to do it together. So we have to show that we love to do it together. We have to encourage our leaders doing together and do not a one-man show. And when you as a leader constantly under pressure and always have no time for your team, and so then your staff will also have no time for the others. So what you create as a leader, you will see that in your staff. Leaders are willing to take time to listen to complaints and concerns.